Do you believe with the help with social media and stuff, like the biggest one was Miley Cyrus, there's these hackers created a fake donation website with it, do you believe, and everyone in media kind of jumped on it. I'm not sure if you guys did or not, I'm just saying like the majority of people jumped on it. It's just really like, you guys got to support this, donate this, and I found out that there was a bunch of hackers that just made this fake website posting and posted it online. Do you believe with how the internet kind of works, like it's kind of like a Wild West, do you believe a lot of news medias are just trying to grab whatever story they can get for the competition, or are they actually looking reflectively and hoping that that's the correct story? Like, do you think there's time behind your post? Like,
we still have to have two sources at the CBC,
Yeah.
so we actually do have to verify. And that's why I mentioned that book, because it's all about the confessions of a media manipulator and how to get, if you can't get your story, his argument as a marketer is if you can't get your story in the mainstream media, get it to 2 bloggers, and once it appears in a couple of blogs, it starts getting some buzz, then the New York Times will pick it up, kind of thing. And when you see something repurposed for the sake, I mean, some Saturday mornings I get pretty depressed because I've read my email inbox from the day before and I see like a 2-page spread, which was essentially a press release sent to me yesterday made into an article. It happens. It's not the norm for CBC. As Renee was just speaking, because she's speaking from the perspective of the reporter who's out of the building and writing these stories and feeling that pressure. I'm a producer. So I'm in the building, there's people talking about it, there's process, there's lawyers, there's editorial considerations. We don't do people without a name, for example. You need to run that all the way up the flagpole if someone wants to not use their name on the radio.
We also have policies too at the CBC about retweeting things, right? Just because you don't retweet a story unless you have to be journalistically responsible for even the things we retweet or we like.
Policy is.
We have very extensive policy on that. But I can't think of any now, but there are countless examples of major media organizations falling prey to online scams, right? So that's just something where you kind of have to say, stop. What did I learn in journalism school when it comes to sourcing stories and doing real journalism? And just because it's out there and other people are retweeting it and it's everywhere and everyone's talking about it, doesn't mean I can stop doing the work that I initially had to do as a journalist to make sure those things.
Is there a real high occurrence of you've gone to an event or publicized one of the what I'm calling the small guys, and it's been totally like they just didn't have their act together, and you guys looked like the fool? Is that a high occurrence at all? Or?
I haven't heard of it. I mean, I consider everything we put on the show, whether it's someone who has a business, whether it's a restaurant or something like that, or if it's a performance, like it's an implied recommendation. So if we go out to something and it's like, oh my God, I would never want to go to this show, and what are they doing? Then we may not air it. We might go out there, talk to you, and not put it on. I mean, we do still, as much as it's great to have handout stories, we also still make editorial decisions based on that. So I'd say no. I mean, there's such great art and theater, and we have so many people. I think CBC could do better in covering the arts, to be honest. I think we could. And a lot of it has to do with priorities, what the masses tell us, what they want, finding the right nugget. And I think in art and local is what we're all about. And in my circle of life, and there's many people who make their living in the arts. So I definitely think it's an area we can do better on, and it's probably on both ends of the spectrum. The reason why the popular person who's already sold tickets gets the request is because we want cool people on that everyone wants to know about on our show too. And if that show's sold out, I'll still want to put it on the radio, even though it's not helping you sell tickets, because a lot of people can't go to the show because it's sold out. So I'm helping my audience get a little snapshot.
Things are changing to be more digital, and you can bring your work home with you more often. Like, how do you keep that in line, or do you find yourselves always sitting on the couch tweeting or checking your emails and really working 24/7, or do you think there's a fine line there where you can kind of keep that in check?
I think it's individual based. I find I am very bad at that, like very bad on my phone all the time. I have to like rewind, bring it back when you're like checking like messages. I got taken away from the programs I'm watching. But for me, I don't mind doing it because I love the news, and if I wasn't working in news, I'd probably be watching and consuming news anyway. So what I do is what I love to do. So for me, tweeting and following news is probably what I'd be doing anyway. And checking my email is really, it just makes my morning a lot easier when I don't have to go through 200 of them, and I just kind of delete them as they come in and read them as they come in. I think, you know, some people are really good at it. They shut that phone off when they leave the office, and they
miss earthquakes.
and then they don't get the phone call to, you know, be there when there's breaking news. But that's all your own personal priority. I don't think you'd be bad at your job for being the person who turns the phone off and walks away or whatever. But
final question. When these students graduate, they're going to be looking for work. So what do you think students need in this marketplace to kind of help them? How should they be presenting to employer? What should they be doing in order to be get to that interview stage and hopefully get hired? What do you guys look for?
Well, I think, you know, you're networking and just knowing, you know, as much as you can.
I find increasingly now with for us specifically, now I have to say I've worked for the same company my entire professional career. So I haven't had to, you know, do a lot of the job search stuff, but I have noticed a big thing along with resume is people's online presence, right? Building up a personal following. You know, people they're going to be checking out your Twitter feed. Do you have lots of followers? Do you have a blog? What is your online presence? And because that now is like wealth, right? Like that's capital that you bring to your profession, ideally, whatever you're doing. So whatever you can build up in your student life when it comes to those sort of networks, online particularly, I believe, and I think we've had, and I've looked at posting some of our recent jobs, like these are questions that they're asking you. You know, how often are you on social media? What do you do on social media? What's your purpose being there? Because it's hard to ignore the fact that, you know, in this day and age, that is going to be an aspect of all of our jobs. So anything you can do before getting into the workforce to build up that presence is great. But again, it's a slippery slope. You have to be super careful about what you're putting on there. And all of it will come back to bite you. You know, it's just so easy now.
And I may be a traditionalist, but I also really believe it's producing volume well, working hard, having a good attitude. I think that you in general, the generation that's coming out of schools now, you know, grapples with the perception that, you know, you had it easy getting summer jobs when you were young, so there's a sense of entitlement. And now it's a much tougher job market. And so, I mean, I really do think there is a perception out there from, what do we call it, Gen Y? Millennials. I think I really do. And the reason that perception exists is because it's true. And not all for everybody, but for a large number of people. Or at least there's a perception of that. And so to just good old-fashioned, work hard, have a good attitude, what else can I do? I mean, I actually think that goes a long way whether you're working in media, whether you're working for an organization. My husband happens to be the digital media guy at the aquarium, and so, I mean, and they're telling stories, you know. They have a marketing department that they work in conjunction with, but they're telling stories. They have deadlines. They're churning it out. You want to hear someone say, "Yes, I can do that," you know. And I don't think any business is different in that regard. So as much as of course, online presence, and if I were to walk into somewhere for a job, I would definitely talk about how I can feed all platforms of media. So those are important phrases and words. But in reality, delivering on good, fresh ideas, hard work, and a good attitude. And some people want to work with people that they want to be around. You know, that still matters, personality and all that stuff. Does really matter.